roll call for our inventory.
I am Lisa Kanarish. I am one of the VPs, and I am the chair of the advocacy committee.
I'm Jenny Cardella, and I am a co-chair of the outreach committee and treasurer.
Hi, Karen Gifford, chair of programming and board meetings at Hockley.
Hi, Rhian King. I'm one of the secretaries. Megan Prince isn't here, but she's my other partner in the secretary role, and I'm co-chair of outreach.
And I'm Laura Collison. I'm the president of Scottsdale Prayer Council. Welcome, thank you for joining us. We have a quorum, but we're missing one. I'm going to just move on to our consent agenda. Our executive board had an opportunity to look at these minutes and treasurer's report. And if there's no objections, we're going to adopt them into our record. No objections, okay, they are adopted, and Rhian's noting that. Okay, announcements. The first announcement is just going to be really quick. I want to talk about SPC reps. Every month we give an opportunity to SPC reps to tell everybody what's on their mind. And the last 2 months we haven't had any agenda items, and that's good. But we also want you guys to share great news too, and really understand that the process is here for you, so that if there's something and if you have questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, that's what it's for. And there's an open door for all of us, and so we just really want to work together and encourage that. So that's it really for that. And now I have Lisa for advocacy.
I'll be quick. Again, I just want to let you all know on the SPC Advocacy for All Students in SUSD Facebook page, I try to keep it updated with what's going on in the legislature, bills that are going to be voted on, opportunities for you to sign up for RTS or sign into your RTS account and register your feelings on a specific bill. Next, I just wanted to go over SB 1224, which many of you may have heard of. It expands ESA vouchers by allowing the funds to be used across state lines. And if that did happen, we would be the first state in the country to allow that. So it is in the Rules Committee right now, so it's just being checked for proper form before it goes to this whole entire Senate floor for them to vote on it. So that's where they're at. I also wanted to quickly introduce, we have a couple representatives from Scottsdale Believe. It's a nonprofit organization here in Scottsdale, and I will allow them to tell you a little bit about their organization.
Hi, thanks for having us again.
My name is Debbie, and all my kids went to SUSD schools. This is
I'm Kelly. My kids go to Navajo, and I went to ANLC, which is now Echo Canyon in Arcadia High School.
And I'm Stacey Edward. My kids also went to local school.
We're a very, very small grassroots group, and this group created petitions asking the Scottsdale City Council to curtail the use of herbicides and pesticides on municipal properties such as parks, dog parks, and athletic fields by adopting a least hazardous first approach to pest management. Under this tiered approach, non-chemical strategies are employed first, least toxic chemicals second, and higher toxicity chemicals are used only when necessary to preserve public health and safety. Non-chemical strategies include things like solarization and mulching, and there's just a whole list on this. And insects, beneficial insects. Non-chemical strategies are not only the healthiest route to take, they save money and water in the long run.
So we're just hoping that if we get this passed with the city of Scottsdale, that hopefully it will trickle down to our Scottsdale school districts. Maybe they'll follow and adopt the approach. We're a small group, 5 to 6 people, and we really need everybody's help. If you can help us sign petitions, take a petition home and get it signed. You have to be a Scottsdale resident. We have information here. We have a website too that you can check out. So please help us in getting to reduce pesticides in the city of Scottsdale.
you mentioned earlier you have a form that schools
Oh,
are
yeah.
supposed to post.
So this is from Coach Chi's school going over the pesticides that were sprayed on January 9th of this year. And it shows that Roundup was sprayed in Speed Zone. And I can't read the first part, but then it says inside and around campus and on field. So these are being sprayed.
We're gonna have to, I apologize, because we can do, questions in the parking lot, and we can get all your questions answered, but to keep things moving, and since we started late, we're just gonna keep moving forward. And please know, there's always more information, and, is the book out there for the parking lot? There's a green book in the front, so if you have questions, you can put your name in there, your question, your email, your contact information, and we'll get you guys in contact with everyone. And we also have, did you want to, introduce Demetrius? Yeah, there you go.
Hi, we have another guest with us this morning. Demetra Presley is here, nice dance, so you can see who you are. And she is the executive director of a nonprofit organization based here in Phoenix called Go With The Flow. And this is a program that provides free period products to girls in middle schools and high schools. And she has recently started working with Scottsdale, so she'll tell you about that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Demetra, and I am the executive director of Go With The Flow. Go With The Flow is a nonprofit organization that provides menstrual hygiene products to schools in Arizona for free. Currently in the United States today, 1 out of 5 students will miss school or class because they don't have access to period supplies. So Go With The Flow provides donations of what we call our period bags or period packs, which contains pads, tampons, and panty liners, and we donate them to schools across the state of Arizona for free, so that whenever a student has a need for a period item, they are able to be provided a pack of supplies, and they don't have to worry about not having access to an hygiene item that they need. Currently, we are working with schools in Pima, Maricopa, and Pinal counties. Since our first donation in January of 2018, we have donated over 20,000 period packs to schools here in Arizona. And that number dramatically speaks of the need that there is here in this state to provide this resource for students. We work with elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. We provide the packs to health offices as well as teachers, social workers, community liaisons, any school staff that wants to be a holder of period packs. There is no limit to how many packs that we will donate to a school or how frequently we do donations, because we believe that no student should have their education interrupted or disrupted because they don't have access to period supplies. I'm available for any questions if you would like any additional information. I have business cards here as well for people to get in contact with me if you would like to have this program implemented in your schools. Thank you.
So do you find that school districts don't cover that? Is that what you're finding?
Some of the school districts, oh, can I?
Oh, you can, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna take a meeting.
Yeah.
Some of the school districts do cover that product, but it's not in the amount that the students need it to be. So for some of the school districts that we work with, for example, they may have a budget of $900 that's provided to the health center to get them through that entire academic year. That $900 has to cover everything that health center utilizes. Yes, exactly. Pads and tampons are one of the most expensive items for health centers to purchase, and they're also one of the most requested items that students have when they come in. So there always ends up being some type of deficient as far as products being made available and how many products can be made available to students. So we try to fill in that gap so that a student can be provided whatever they need, how often they need it, and not have to worry about not having access to something.
Thank you. Please don't hesitate, we really do we wish there was more time to have fully in-depth discussions too. And here's Annie Cardella for outreach.
So for outreach, we have a few things coming up. Please mark your calendars for our next PTO roundtable. It's Tuesday, March 31st. So everyone's welcome. We call PTO, but anyone who's involved in school, it's going to focus on events. So we can just share our ideas about what events work, don't work for either fundraising or community building at our different schools. And then another announcement is a program put on by SBA and SBC, and then Patty Beckman with the school board is doing Project Prom. So it is collecting prom dresses for other formal rope guys, anything else, jewelry. They've been reaching out to places to get haircuts and updos donated. So there's going to be a collection period. There's going to be 2 days where it's going to be collected at every high school, where there's like a 3-hour window you can drop things off. And then there's going to be a day, or I'm sorry, probably 3 days of kids coming and then trying things on, and you know, everything's free for them to take. So there will be a flyer with all the details on that, forthcoming. And then, yes, and it'll be announced in the newsletter, and so just kind of share that as much as you can as well. And then we have one opportunity that we're looking for a couple volunteers at Tonalea. They had asked us to have a table at their, the days that they're having parent-teacher conferences. They're having a few tables out for parents to have information, so we're gonna be there just talking about SBC. That's definitely one of our schools that we don't have a lot of representation here for, so we would love to be able to reach out to those parents. So, there will be a sign-up genius in all of our communication if you would like to help us out and just, work that table and just talk about SBC.
Laura. Hi, Laura. Okay. This is Laura Wieshoff.
Hi, I'm Laura Wieshoff, and I am chairing the school marketing support group. So it's a new group, so join the communications list on SPC, through the SPC website, and then please get on Facebook and get onto the SPC communications group. If you're interested in marketing or are already involved in helping market your school for your PTO, we really want it to grow the marketing group and exchange ideas and make sure everyone, school is kind of on track with that. So definitely please join that group. And then also with Public School Week coming up, we want to make sure that you guys have something great going on your Facebook pages and all of those things. So definitely get that going and talk about it amongst the other parents so that they can share the love for their schools.
And program Karen. Thank you.
So our next general meeting is coming up quickly on March 4th because we're gonna squeeze it in before spring break. This is gonna be an evening meeting. Our evening meetings start at 6 and we try to get you out of here by 7:30. The discussion topic this time is student safety and prevention. And there'll be small groups. The format will be a little different than anything we've tried in the past. We're looking at a speed dating forum. So the speakers will stay at a specific table and the groups, you'll be numbered and move in groups between those tables. So we're gonna have multiple speakers again, but instead of a panel format, we're trying something different where you can get something from every speaker and have a discussion, and it'll be great.
And AZ Play It Safe is confirmed to be there, which I don't know if you know that group, but anyone who's in Girl Scouts, it's a really very useful.
Yes, and we're also expecting Amy Palatucci, who's the principal at Coronado, who's going to talk about how school climate and culture and improving that helps with safety.
And before we move on to the next speaker, thank you for waiting. We do have another guest speaker, Jan Michael. Were you going to? Did you have a minute? So while you do our dream board members, Jan Michael Greenberg.
Hi. Nice to see many familiar faces. I just really wanted to say very quickly, I appreciate the time for allowing me to speak. As all of you know, we're in the middle of our superintendent search process, which is an exciting time. We've invited 3 great candidates to come in on February 21st. We have the SPC Parent Stakeholder Community group that will be interviewing them. We have 4 other interview groups plus the board. I think this is a really exciting time. I know that there are always concerns, always questions. People want to know more. Please speak to your parent representatives that have been appointed to the board. SPC, I believe, last night posted the names of them. Is that correct? Or on Facebook, or the community members posted it?
I don't know that we posted it because we wanted an opportunity to let everyone know and see, but it's not a secret. But we wanted to make sure they knew that their names were going to be posted.
Oh.
So it might have been, it's not a secret and it's transparent.
Not a secret, but not yet.
So they know who they are, but if you want to ask, we're happy to tell. Yeah, I mean,
once it is
raise your hand if you're on it. So there we go. Our Steph Swergel, Amy Cordella is our
a couple of them, so.
Yeah, great. So yeah, please speak to them if you have questions. Please contact the board. We're always happy to answer your questions. I know one big thing has always been, finalists. Are these the people we absolutely have to choose? And my answer to that is interview them, tell us what you think, and if we find someone who's great, absolutely that's the way we'll go. If you want to interview more people, we'll bring in more people, but this is very much a collaborative effort. The board really wants to work with the administration, the candidates that we've invited to interview, and every single stakeholder group to really find the best fit for our district. So keep that in mind, speak to your representatives, and I hope it's an exciting process for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Dr. Picard, thank you for joining us. I know you are filled up in
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy to be here. Glad to see such a nice turnout. Representative group, that's great. I was going to talk about a couple of things that been happening, positive things that have been happening. I start out with, I don't know how many of you attended on Saturday, the Prado del Sol.
Yay!
We had a couple of school bands and schools marching and parade. It was fun to see everybody out. It was a great crowd. Of course, it was a beautiful day. It was a great crowd, and I'll tell you the applause that those of us who were on the I'll avoid some wisecracks, I guess, but who rode on the wagon through the parade with Scottsdale School District. It was really nice to see people applauding and being happy with what's going on. But I also know Dr. Kim Guerin, our Assistant Superintendent for Ed Services, raise your hand, was one of the announcers. And she said she would announce at a school group as they came by, and the people would applaud. The kids' faces just lit up all day long. Just that little recognition and being part of a parade was cool. So it's frankly, it may not seem this way to you, but it's a unique situation in that Scottsdale School District has with the city of Scottsdale. When I was superintendent in the Paradise Valley School District, which is not at all in the town of Paradise Valley, there was no city connection. We were a section of the city of Phoenix mostly, with some schools in Scottsdale and so forth. But that connection with the city and being able to relate to people in city government as well as other community civic groups was great. That was a fun day. A couple of things that I think are noteworthy is we announced a few weeks ago that Coronado High School received a 5E Gear Up grant. It's a grant that's run through Northern Arizona University to help all kids gear up for post-secondary education. It's a national grant. It's about $300,000 a year for 7 years. We are in the planning process now with how to use that money to optimize opportunities for the kids. And I think this can be a game changer for many kids and families in that community. So it's not going to be used solely for Coronado High School. It will also be used to help prepare the kids at Connolly K-8 and the elementary schools in that complex to be ready for high school and continue on. So that's a significant grant proposal that was approved, and we're very excited about that for Coronado. I was also going to mention that there happens to be a superintendent search going on. Thanks, young Michael, for comments. Yes, we do have 5 interview teams. The search firm that we are using has done this process previously in Peoria this year, in Dysart School District on the west side last year, They believe very much in the process and the products that they have produced from that process in those two districts and are following that. So the 5 committees that we have, the parent/community committee. The committees are generally restricted to 10 people. It's a 45-minute interview that they have, so that's about right. But the community committee has now grown possibly to 14 to make sure that we are inclusive, and so that's a positive step. Emmy is leading that, facilitating that committee. Each committee has a facilitator. The other 4 committees, just for your information, are administrative, which includes district office administrators, principals, and a combination of all of our administrative groups. Teachers, that'll be led by Chris Amory, the SEA president, with 10 teachers. And classified, which are the hourly paid, and we have representation from all the various groups, from building services and nutrition services and transportation and a school principal secretary, and so all of those classified areas, representation. And then we have a student group that this group is asking. So we have 10 high school students, 2 from each high school. In each of the committees, we've asked the committee chairs, when they solicit people to come, that we have a representation from all sections of the district, so from all 5 learning complexes, from the different grade levels, and also representative of the different cultural aspects in our schools. So we've tried to be as inclusive and representative as possible. It is with 6 interviews for the candidates, so 5 committees plus the board, and 3 committees. It is quite a scheduling matrix to put together. So Assistant Superintendent Jed Bowman for Human Resources, who was a math teacher, put this matrix together that I think is probably more complicated than I would have put it, but it covers all of the needs we think of people. And so I've been involved only in the logistics of it. It's appropriate that the superintendent is not involved in the selection. I did not attend the executive session where the board discussed the candidates and came up with the 3 finalists. This is the 3rd district where I've been superintendent and been involved in a search for my successor, and in none of the others either was it's just not appropriate. So we've been working on the logistics, which has been quite an interesting thing. Everything from how does a candidate from out of state get from the airport to a hotel or hotel to here and back? How do we take care of people on an interview day like that with lunches and keeping them separate at all times, and having someone there to guide them around. So there were lots of little pieces to that, because our desire is to have this be as smooth as possible, so that the candidates can show their best, so that they are comfortable and be ready to answer the questions, so that the committee members get to see the very best of these candidates that come very highly recommended. So it's an exciting time. I'll tell you, I continue to push forward the Hanover climate study that I talked about, I think, last month here. The #1 recommendation was for the district to maintain its course. And so as we are looking at candidates, we're looking at people who have been successful, have had integrity, people that meet the qualifications that the board and the community in their forums, both last year and updated forums this fall, put forward. So we're looking for people who meet the needs of what this community has said they want in a superintendent. So that's February 21st was the interview day. The final decision will be made sometime after that. Depends on how that we cannot predict. We will have time set aside for the board to deliberate. But whether they come to their final decision that day, or that's a Friday, or later that next week, we can't predict that. But certainly for all involved, we would hope that the board can make a decision in a timely manner. But it's not one to be rushed either. So, yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that you're not a part of the process and you never have been before, but I think that a lot of people trust your leadership, and we've seen over the past couple of years lots of improvement in people's satisfaction. Is it possible for you to be part of the process, or is it a conflict of interest, or what is the, you know?
Well, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
The board's chief responsibility, the most important responsibility, I believe, of the governing board is to hire the superintendent. So that it is their decision. If any time during the process, they want to call me in, as the board did, the previous board did last October, they want to call me in to talk to me about it, then certainly I'm always available. I'll tell you this, I'm also committed to whoever is chosen to have a smooth transition. And it's been some time in this district since we had a superintendent leave his or her own position. So there has not been a transition phase. It's been pack up bags and leave. So I'm committed to that transition. I'm glad that the board is moving forward early enough in the year that gives us plenty of time. My contract runs until June 30th. If somebody is hired who can start earlier, then we'll talk about that, but there will definitely be a transition period where I will work with that person and do everything I can to make sure that the person, when he or she begins, can begin with action and not have to do a whole brand new assessment of what's going on. So I will be involved at whatever level the board would like me to be involved, but it's generally not, superintendent is not involved in the actual selection. Yes?
So I was at the Swirl breakfast a few months ago. It's kind of lively because we had our
Right.
parents there too, and they're welcome.
Yes, we did. I remember.
But one of the questions that we had was about superintendent search, and you made it clear at that time that you were gonna be promoting and talking to, I believe, Dr. Joel at the search firm about having 3 candidates from within. And so when you're telling me now that you weren't involved, that doesn't jive exactly with what you said.
Yeah, right, let me clarify that, thank you, Susan, for that. I was not involved in the executive session where they actually chose. Was I involved in advocating for, there were 2 in the end that applied. In October, when I was at Saguaro, there were 3 who were thinking about it, but 2 applied. I was involved in advocating for those 2 people with Dr. Joel and frankly, with some board members, because I believe we had 2 people who were very capable of continuing what we're doing and fulfilling the role of superintendent as the community was led. I don't know what happened in the executive session, that they came up with one of the internal applicants. But yes, I was active in advocating, but I was not in the executive session where the decision was made.
Okay, but those are 2 different things.
Yes, it is 2 different things. One is pre-board meeting, pre-application, where I talked with the search firm, and the other is an executive session of the board. Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick question. Do the committees, come up with their own questions for the candidates?
The committee was asked to submit questions. If they have issues with some questions, then the search firm has a bank of questions that have been used before, and so they were also helping. The student group, for example, needed a little more help. Most of the other committees have come up with questions and they send them to one of the people in the search firm, who is then formatting them and pulling them together. But they are developing their own questions for the most part. All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. I wanted to mention, we
take a note that, you know, we really want you guys to be comfortable here and sit wherever you feel comfortable. But we also really want to encourage building relationships. And I don't know if you've ever read something about a U, sitting in a U and not a circle, because a circle is closed off. And we all are equally important in this district and what we give for our students. And so the best thing we can do, in my opinion, is to meet each other and know each other's names, even from, you know, miles away from each other. So we reached out to principals, some of you may be aware of this, the elementary school principals, and talked about what SPC can do. There's a lot of existing relationships throughout the district, but what we wanted to do is what we could kind of contribute. And so you'll see the yellow signs. We talked about partnerships and really just building a relationship, not support, just a relationship, so you can meet people from different schools. So that's why those signs we want to encourage you guys to. It's things that you guys have in common with the schools that pay your fee. So that's what you'll see there. So, and then I've also challenged you not to smile at all during the meeting. Anyway, so, okay. No one's gonna say challenge except to say lost.
I got the joke, guys.
Yeah. I never thought I was that funny, except for myself. Okay, so student wellness and nutrition. We're very, very excited about putting those out here and the presenters. And this, again, is informal discussion. And so we're gonna start with, Erin, do you want to introduce everyone? Actually, thank you.
Hi, we're so happy and honored to have you all with us today, and I wanted to take a quick second to introduce the panel. We have Patty Gilgrave here, who is our Director of Nutrition Services, and next to her is Maria Baumann, who both of whom have served on the Student Wellness Committee with Dr. Chestnut for about a year now. And thank you both for being here. Maria Baumann is a parent, and she's also has deep experience with wellness policy and guidelines. She's a DCES parent and former Arizona Healthy Schools program manager, so she knows all about this stuff. And next to her, we have Lou Rodarte, the volunteer master gardener at Echo Canyon. I know many of you have heard about that project, and he's going to talk about what they're doing over there and how they've done it. We also have Patty Smith from Laguna Elementary Nurse. Thank you. I wasn't sure what order I had you guys. And she's going to talk about student wellness as well. We have Sarah Martinelli, who is a CAP. I don't know what that stands for.
I'm not sure, actually.
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll skip that.
It says, it was that clinical assistant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope that works, but.
There we go. It was ASU College of Health Solutions and a board member of the Blue Watermelon Project and the Central Arizona Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So we're really grateful to have you all here today. And I'll give the mic to Maria, I believe.
I think I'm starting.
Oh, you're starting. I'm sorry.
Well, good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, so first disclaimer, I'm Italian, I'm a Scorpio, I'm used to standing, talking, walking, and not having a microphone, so bear with me on this, because my hands will fly, so if you don't hear me, it's because the microphone's 3 feet from my face. So I'm pretty much here to talk a little bit about, probably touch on every single panel member up here, a little bit of what they do and how it relates to nutrition services and what we've been doing to make some changes. Some of you, how many of you were at my last presentation with Scottsdale Parent Council? Okay, because I'm always happy to come do it again. We usually do a deep dive into the department. That was about an hour long. This is supposed to be between 5 and 10 minutes. And for those of you who know me, I can talk fast, so I'm going to blow through this fast. Okay, first, more than anything, I just want to remind everybody, in nutrition services, we do administer very specific federal programs. Each one of these are a program within themselves. They have their own regulations, their own paperwork, their own forms, their own oversight. So this is what we do. Not going to read every line of it. This was in my slide from last time about what we do with our meals. It'll kind of give you an idea of what we look at. We use a lot of name brand products. We use reduced sodium, reduced fat, whole grains. We have to meet very specific federal and even our district guidelines that we have for our nutrition initiative. I just wanted to throw a few slides in here of pictures of things. So
How many of you know that every day your child has the option for these bistro packs as an entree? All right, there are 5 of them. There are 2 that they have to have, which is the hummus and the protein pack, because they're the most popular. But we also have the peanut butter protein pack, we have a fruit and cheese, and we have a tuna bistro pack. You'll see a picture of some of these later. I know that Susan's taking a picture to prove to her daughter that cookies aren't lunch. I'm just throwing in a few slides. We're gonna get into some meat and potatoes later about what's going on. But these are some slides we took over at Cocopah Middle School. So this is some of the options that are available in our middle schools and high schools. We have anywhere from 26 to 32 entrees every day. These are some of our cold options, and there's a lot of hot options as well. This is from yesterday. I want you to know that we did not take like these stock photos of like the very best day on the planet Earth in Scottsdale to show you. This is just a typical day in the day of Scottsdale. I called a few managers and said, can you send me some photos? Yesterday was pizza day, Domino's Pizza, which is Smart Slice. It is whole grain crust, it is reduced sodium, reduced fat cheese, and if you can see that there's perfectly placed 5 pepperonis on every single slice. So no child gets, why did they get an extra half a slice of pepperoni like they do at home? So Domino's was very smart in that respect, but also on the menu that day were the turkey sandwiches and several other items, which you'll see in the next slide. But you see those turkey sandwiches look pretty darn good to me. So the big top slide's a little blurry because I had to blow it up, but this was at Pueblo. We were serving pizza, but look what else is on the menu. We have 2 different bistro packs. We have a chicken Caesar salad, turkey sandwich, a peanut butter and apple butter sandwich, and we'll tell you why it's apple butter later. And then we have the cheese pupper pack, which is natural cheese curds, whole grain crackers, applesauce, and carrots. Then there's their fruit and vegetable bar. I will say in the winter time, it's not as plentiful for fruits and vegetables for us. I know in the grocery store, you can get them. Cost is an issue for us. So it's a lot of citrus, a lot of apples, but we do have some great vegetables during the winter months. So we offer a side salad every single day. We've got cucumbers, we've got carrots, we've got tangerines, we've got the Gala apples. We don't always just do the little red schoolboys, we do a variety of apples. Some of our schools sometimes take a variety, wedge them, and put 3 different varieties in one container, which I think is kind of fun for the kids. We are looking at adding a lot of new vegetarian and vegan meals, because if anybody knows, that is the #1 food trend in the world. They call it a food trend, not a diet, because it's not always just a diet or a lifestyle. It's also something that more people are adding more plant-based proteins to their diet and more plant-based foods. We did a testing over at Pueblo Elementary with the Morningstar Farms chicken nuggets, and if you can see all the little colored dots on Lovett, they were, first off, they've all eaten it at home, so they knew what it was. That was interesting. And then the other is an ancient grain vegetarian Greek bowl that's got ancient grains, it's got the garbanzo beans and homemade tzatziki that we made ourselves. So that will be rolling out very soon. It's gonna have a few more things to pretty it up, but that was our first stab at it.
We're coming for lunch.
Okay, good. We are invited every day. So the nutrition initiative. This is a slide from last time. I just put some check marks on that we've hit all our targets for now. We have some aspirations in the future. It was a pilot program first in Pueblo that we started in school year 19. So we're almost 2 years in on this. I'm not going to read every line, but basically what we looked for was how can we improve our school meals, decrease the amount of preservatives and additives in our food, and still have great food for our kids. So I want to be specific about what the Nutrition Initiative did. So in all schools, K through 12 in Scottsdale Unified, we reduced the a la carte snack list significantly, especially in the elementary schools. We removed all items and a la carte all menu items and a la cartes that had added MSG, removed all menu items and a la cartes that had high fructose corn syrup. That's why we have apple butter instead of jelly. It's almost impossible for me to find a commercial size jelly that's affordable that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. So we went with the apple butter, and it's actually delicious. It tastes like fall on bread. It's so good. It's not like this wonderful little cinnamon taste. I love it. We removed all menu items and a la cartes that had the BHT and BHA. And we've drastically decreased the amount of foods that have artificial food dyes. They're not all gone yet. However, we've made a commitment that anything new coming into the district will not have artificial food dyes in it. The industry is getting there. They're not quite there on all our products, but I'd say we're probably 90% there on eliminating food dyes. So I don't want to say we're 100%, but we are close to that. We are working to decrease nitrates and nitrites. That is something also the industry is working on. And you know, the more we push this as schools, and there's more schools out there doing this, the more industry responds to it. It's all about supply and demand. If we want it, and we say we're not gonna buy something else, they start making some changes in the industry. So that's what's good. So at all elementary schools, this is in addition to the prior slide, which was K through 12. We also removed flavored milk at breakfast. We removed a la carte snack items, or limited a la carte snack items to 13 grams of sugar or less. We removed all a la carte items with artificial food dyes, and that's actually K-12 on the food dyes. A la carte items, none of them have artificial food dyes on. On Wednesdays, we feature an all-power lunch entree. We are changing this to Thursday in the next school year, and I won't get into the reason why, but it was just a menu. If we had some leftover yogurt parfaits from the day before, and they're still good. They don't meet the power lunch because they're a little bit higher in sugar, so we didn't want them to be thrown in the trash because food waste is a big issue for us. I'll give a plug here, lowest food cost in the state of Arizona, it's Scottsdale Unified, because our managers are amazing at making sure that they reduce their waste, so give them a plug for what they do. And that's not easy. Every Monday is Meatless Monday. So, and then there used to be a weekly dessert. Part of that is because in the USDA's wisdom, they decided to increase the amount of calories needed in the elementary menus as a whole as they average for a week, which we don't understand why they did that. So you had to put some things that were more, have more calories in them. So we had a little bit of a dessert once a week. We've taken that away. We did leave the chocolate dip banana because it's a way for us to utilize our bananas that are starting to turn, that are still good inside, but kids won't take them because they look brown on the outside. So we put a stick in them, freeze them, dip them, and they love them, especially in the winter. And we collaborated with Community Ed, that we worked together with them. It was really, they drove it, but we worked together with them to improve the Kids Club snacks. And so they follow all of these initiative guidelines as well. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about, we're all probably gonna talk somewhat about this nutrition, the SUSD wellness policy and regulations. So we did do about a year-long process with the wellness committee, developing wellness regulations. And they're gonna be, the launch date's still to be determined, but it'll be fairly soon. The wellness policy is being updated. So there is a difference between this. There is policy and there's regulation. Right now I'm currently working with our legal team, with Michelle Marshall and Louise over in legal to put together the policy, the updated policy that's required by USDA. That will take some time to go through some board reads and second reads before we get to an approved policy. But I wanted to talk a little bit because I know that Laura said there's some confusion between policy versus regulations. So policy is more your vague. It's what you need to make sure that you are legally doing what you should be for wellness. It doesn't give your specifics. So it might say for like nutrition services, we'll follow all federal, state, and local guidelines. Pretty vague, just as we're gonna follow those guidelines. Our regulations are what are gonna be our specific, like almost like our SOPs. These are our standard operating procedure, what we are going to do. That does not need, the board will see it, the board will recognize it, but it does not need formal board approval. So that can be kind of a living document that works with as things change within our district. We may say, I'll use a perfect example, our old policy said that SUSD Nutrition Services will follow Arizona nutrition standards. That was before the USDA came up with USDA Smart Snacks in Schools, which abolished all of the state-specific, like Arizona nutrition standards. Well, all of a sudden, we have now a board policy that isn't quite right because we don't have to follow Arizona nutrition standards. It's defunct, it doesn't even exist anymore. But we'd have to go through the whole process of board approval to change that. Where if in our regulations, we said we'll follow, those are very fluid and easy for us to change based on the needs of the district, or, you know, things are changing. You can watch the news, you know, USDA is changing things left and right, keeping my job. I call it job security. It's a pretty wild ride out there sometimes, and we've got to make sure that we're following the most current specific rules and regulations going without having to change our board policy all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna wait for questions until everyone speaks, because I think what's gonna happen is.
I think some will answer.
Your questions.
Because we're gonna have more
If you wanna write
wellness.
it down, so you don't forget it too. Yeah,
Okay.
and Maria can probably speak to it.
Right. And then also too, that the wellness regulations allow some site-based decisions to be made. Like we may say, we highly suggest this, but a site may have some different things they need to do based on their community and based on their site and based on their staffing and their, what's their priority list right then. So I know that Laura kind of wanted me to talk a little bit about hunger. So there is no face to hunger. If you think there's a face to hunger, there isn't. And I'm telling you, I hear those stories. I talk to those parents. I know what's going on in our district. Hunger exists in every single school of SUSD. It doesn't matter if you live in $1 million house or not. You may have food insecurities because you have no idea what goes on behind those walls. You don't know if parents have lost a job. When the economy, you know, really took a tumble years ago, there were some people really struggling. Some people have never really come back from that. I think this is important to know that 1 in 5 children in Arizona struggle with food insecurity. I mean, 1 in 5. And you think, well, that could be all the inner city people. We might have like 1 in 25 here. No, our free and reduced percentage in Scottsdale schools is 23.7% free and reduced. That exceeds the 20%. That's 1 in 5 is 20%. So we exceed what that is. So you have to realize, you know, we can feel really good about everything we're doing. Like, oh yes, we've taken food dyes out. We've done all of these different changes. We're making the food healthier. We're doing great. But we have to understand, when you see that child who maybe isn't interested in the tossed salad because they really want the pizza and they want a whole grain roll, you know why they want it? Because they may not have dinner and they may not have breakfast, and that's what's gonna hold them over more than a tossed salad. We're all for getting kids to have more tossed salads and eat more fruits and vegetables in addition to what they are, but right now their immediate need is they just need food. So our mission is to make sure that every child has all the nutrition they need to grow and to learn every single day. And that's what we're all here for, and to do it in the most healthy way possible for those kids. The school and wellness partnerships, a lot of that, I'm just kind of doing almost an introduction here on this, is I know that Maria's gonna talk a little bit about our healthier US schools. We have Fuel Up to Play 60, which parents can actually sponsor at a school, the Blue Watermelon Project, and supporting a local school garden. I mean, Lou does some great things. I would encourage schools, this is gonna be my plug with nutrition services. I would encourage schools that have school gardens to let us know what you harvest. You might be taking bell peppers that day and only have maybe 12 that you harvested. That's not gonna feed the school, or the whole school, but guess what? I can bring in cases of bell peppers, and during that week, we can every single day do it a different way to support what's being harvested in the school gardens, and they're gonna taste and feel and understand what that produce is and what it can become. So I would encourage any of you with school gardens to please reach out to us, or your cafeteria manager, and have them reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we support that garden in any way we can to promote it. And be supportive of all aspects of wellness. We're here to talk about nutrition today more than anything, but you know, school wellness is everything, social, emotional wellness. It comes in so many different colors and forms that I think to get involved in your school and say, how can we make our kids more well-rounded, more healthy, all the way around, that's what we're here to do.
Thank you.
All right, so basically, we're here. We got a great team, and yes, we do have strawberry banana costumes that if you want them to come out on your site, we will be out there. We ask not in May or August because I think we would die, because they are full fur all the way down. So I'm gonna pass this on to Maria though. So Maria has a lot to share with you about the allied associations.
Did you want to?
I just want to state real quick, if you guys actually listed all the things that have been done over the last year and a half, 2 years, I want to make sure you guys understand that is not at a lot of school districts. We are really, really unique
in the fact that she's gotten her MSG and she and hybrid corn syrup. These things are amazing. She's worked super, super hard. What we provide to our kids, what they have offered to them is really excellent, and I just want to thank her for all of it.
And I have a great team. I mean, we could not do this if it weren't for our amazing team in nutrition services. And yeah, one of my operations managers here, Michelle Johnson, she's like, can I come with you? I'm like, sure. So.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm Maria, and I'm excited to be at my first SPC meeting. And I'm gonna buzz through mine because I wanted you guys to leave this meeting inspired. And I have Lou and Patty here who are really more primed to do that for you guys than me. So I'm gonna go quick. I'm Maria. I'm a former school health professional, but most importantly now I am a mom to a kindergartner at Desert Canyon. And I moved to Arizona 7 years ago, and pretty quickly I started working for a company called the Alliance for a Healthier Generation as the Arizona Healthy Schools Program Manager. I do not miss having to say that. But I will call the Alliance for a Healthier Generation the Alliance from now on. But what the Alliance, it started as an initiative of the American Heart Association, and its sole mission was to reduce childhood obesity, to curb that epidemic, and give children lifelong healthy habits. I almost forget what I have next. I think you guys have all seen these numbers. This was on our website. 40% of children are overweight or obese in Arizona. And I checked the website yesterday. The Alliance's website, they do update this yearly, so they still are calling us the 4th most obese state for children in the nation. So it is critical that we look at the communities, our children's environments, and change them to be healthier, to give kids more access to physical activity and healthy eating. So obviously schools are where we need to be looking, and SUSD is on top of it. So I stopped working about 3 years ago when I got pregnant with my second daughter, but now that I'm a parent, I kind of have a unique perspective because I have this professional background where I'm super committed to this work, and now I have this passion because it's my children that are affected by this. I did work with over 120 Arizona schools when I was working, and I've seen a lot of really amazing change happen, and I've seen that spark here in SUSD, so I'm really excited to kind of talk about this work in Scottsdale. I'm going to skip that one. Let me see if, so of course I uploaded the wrong PowerPoint because 2-year-olds. So I changed the slide to just include more comprehensive, I didn't ask the question, what are the wellness topics we look at when we look at a healthy school, and they are physical education, physical activity, health education, student and parent engagement, social emotional wellness, nutrition services. So I think I'm pretty good on that. So last year I had the amazing opportunity to start serving on a very representative and diverse district wellness committee, which you guys, I worked with 120 schools. SUSD had it going on with that committee. Let me tell you, and Shay really is to thank, and I'm probably missing tons of people I should thank for putting that committee together. But man, I have never been around so many passionate people working to try to change, things in our school that's going to give us healthier children. We put together, it took us a year, and we put together, now we had to change from wellness policy, as Patty kind of touched on this, to wellness guidelines, because there's a difference there. And I apologize, I'm not the most up to speed on legal the correct words for everything, but we rolled out this extraordinarily robust set of robust set of wellness guidelines that we're going to make these huge impacts on our school, and which was super inspiring. And then we sent it in for review, and it came back a 10th the size, maybe. Very, very cut back on what we, all these aspirations, and it was discouraging. But I'm still inspired, and because as a parent, I was discouraged, but as a former school health professional, I was inspired because the spark is going. And kind of what I wanted to talk today about is, I think so I'll back up a little. With the wellness guidelines, basically the governing board, those who govern us, I don't know exactly exactly who. I'm so lost in cabinet and school board. Those who govern us, I'll say that. They don't want to put anything in policy that we don't already do. And we were like, well, what's that? But then they don't want to have, their concern is enforcement, and that makes sense. How are they gonna enforce this? And then where is the funds gonna come to give us 60 minutes of PE every week and comprehensive health education curriculum? So, understandable. And so, as I've been thinking about this, we really need to start looking at a practice to policy approach, where we need to start getting things going in our schools. We need to build a culture of wellness, which is what I entitled this presentation, and to show our administration that we want this and we're doing this and it can be done. And slowly over time, it will get into policy. It'll get more feeding under it. One inspiring example is the Mesa Public School District. They last year had 40 of their schools, which might have been their entire district. Okay, so over 40 of their schools earned the National Healthy Schools Award, which is the most prestigious award in school health that there is out there. And only 300 nationwide get this award. And they had 40 of their schools do it. If you go on their website and look at their wellness policy, it's not that great. Right. It's not that great. So we can achieve great things in wellness without necessarily the most robust policy. So I just want to highlight a few simple steps we as parents can do. Step one, join others. Go to your school. Who's doing this? Who's working this? If you're at Pueblo, you're lucky, you have Shay there. If you're at Desert Canyon, you have Laura. See who else is committed to health and wellness. Your PE teacher, CT. It's pretty obvious. Who walks their kids to school? Who packs the healthy lunches? Who's out there doing the fun run? Find those people. Those are your people. And don't reinvent, you don't have to necessarily reinvent some wheels. Ask questions, guys. Ask your kids, are you giving classroom brain breaks? Are you doing physical activity breaks in your class? Really talk to your kids about lunch. Did you have enough time to eat lunch today? Were you able to make good choices? I didn't know this was a problem in high school. Did you have a seat at a table? Ask what, when you're given a reward or incentive, what is it? Is it candy? Or is it more recess time? Is your lunch before or after recess? Do you have enough drinking water? Are you staying hydrated? How many birthday parties were this week? This is a big one in elementary schools. Cupcakes every week. Do you ever lose recess because of your behavior? What's in the vending machines? All these things, get to find out. Ask your children, they'll be able to tell you these things. Find out what's going on at your school. And then take action. Obviously the most important thing we can do is model healthy behaviors at home. Second most important is to buy school lunch.
Thank you. Maybe for $1 later.
My son, I just put a little personal story. Up until age 3, he ate everything we made, which was like spicy Thai curry and sushi, and it was awesome. He turned 3, all of a sudden nothing can touch each other, and so he's chicken breast, broccoli, rice every night. Drives me crazy. But he eats school lunch every day. Mom, I had a bean burrito. Mom, I had lasagna. Mom, I had, it's amazing. And I don't have to pack lunch, which saves me so much time. So I can't put enough plugs in. They're amazing school lunches here. And it supports our school and our district. Eat lunch with your kid. Go and see, I had a Caesar salad, it was delicious, it was $2. It was great. And then volunteer in the lunchroom. If you could be the person that opens the milk for kids, I'm sorry, I'm in the elementary school world right now. That my son, when someone opened his milk, was wow, that saved me 10 minutes. He only has 20 minutes for So volunteer in the lunchroom. It's not a huge time commitment, and it's really, really helpful. Of course, send your emails and your nicely but strongly worded emails to your administrators. Volunteer in the garden or start one. I get you over Lou. I can't tell you enough about gardens. Desert Canyon even was certified to serve the food produced in our garden in the cafeteria. How cool is that? And I can tell you, as a parent, my kid will nosedive into a garden and eat anything in there. You put it on his plate because it came from the grocery store, he doesn't want to touch it. So gardens are crucial. be a grant writer. If you're a grant writer, share your skills. I wrote 2 grants to support our garden this year. They didn't take a ton of time, and it was super rewarding we actually didn't get one, but we got a bunch of stuff as a backup prize, and it was great. If you're in high school, there's a lot of wellness related events for high school kids. Chaperone one of those, see what's going on. Be the parent that brings in bubbles or something else other than cupcakes. Please. We've had enough. Walk to school, do fun runs, go to volunteer at field days, all those things. And guys, I will always stand by this. Demand comprehensive health education for all grade levels, and demand that we have more time in PE because those are absolutely crucial. I'm just about done.
I have the worst job. It's like,
I know. This is the very, very most important thing. Share your successes, guys. Talk to Laura, put them on Facebook. Let our administrators know we're doing this. Call the media. If you're doing a walk to school day, get the media there. Get them covering this. This is absolutely what we need to do to showcase that we're doing this great work. And I'm done.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. We have 2 people that I have that actually run out too, so I'm sorry if you're okay. Patty's here as a nurse and she needs to get back to her kids, so.
Yes, I've got to get back to our health office to take care of kids, so I've got to volunteer in my principal at Laguna, but I love being a school nurse. I've been a nurse in Scottsdale schools for the last 15 years, and I will do whatever I can to promote wellness. Have worked with these ladies before and love the bistro packs, love those in our school, and I've been fortunate for 10 years to have a school health advisory committee at Laguna. So that's been really promoted by our leadership at school, and it consists of administrators. We have an amazing PE teacher, gen ed teachers, myself, and we also have a parent who's here today, Jen West, and a 5th grade girl as a member of our committee. So we've done a variety of things the last 10 years for wellness in our school, and I tell kids all the time on the morning announcements that I believe we are one of the healthiest schools in the district because we just do stuff. We get together, we meet, we brainstorm ideas, and we just do it. And we have a little slogan that is eat smart, move more. And we say that a lot. We post it on Jen just posted it on a glass case outside our cafeteria. We have done a variety of things, and probably most prominently a fitness club, like what Maria wrote here as an alternative exercise activity at lunchtime. And so we've done this for a lot of years, but right now we're just doing it on Wednesdays. So kids can go out and just do some laps. They get a rubber band and they tally those laps, and then they can be recognized. And right now our kind of a reward or a little recognition for participating in that lunchtime fitness club is colorful crazy socks, and the kids love them. So they get recognized. Today we're having fitness club, so they will be running their laps, and we pick out 10 kids every Thursday morning, and they're recognized on the news, and they get to wave their socks, and we say, hey, eat smart, move more, we're too fit to quit. And we just have a culture. I liked your word a lot, a culture of wellness, and I hope that's what we're doing at Laguna, is having that culture of wellness. We have a mission statement for our school health advisory committee. We only meet about 3 or 4 times a year, so it's pretty low commitment, but I think it's just got enough involvement to really spread that culture of wellness. Our mission statement is just to promote, enable, and encourage a healthy school environment for students, staff, and parents. So we're just really promoting that healthy campus. I just kind of wrote down a list of things that we've done in all these years. The fitness club is one of them. And at times we've had community involvement, and actually we do right now too, which is awesome. If you can find those great community members that are willing to come in and share, because we need volunteers. So we've had the Nike store at the quarter that used to be there. They used to come in. They actually donated many, I think about $500 worth of fuel bands, which is, if you know what a fuel band is, it's kind of like your Apple Watch. It tracks laps and miles and calories burned and those kinds of things. So we gifted those to kids that are participating in our lunchtime fitness club. Kids love that, of course, but we've kind of moved away from the reward system and more toward a participation system and kind of a character counts program where, hey, you're out there, you're trying your best, you're helping your classmates, you're just promoting that kind of exercise and activity. Hey, we want to really share the wealth, and we'll end up giving about 200 pair of socks away during the school year, which the kids really love, which is fun. It's really, really a fun thing for them. They're putting those socks on, and they've got unicorns and tacos and whatever on those socks, and they're enjoying that. But we also have written a couple of grants. We've had some money in the past, and we equipped a staff workout room. So we've got some equipment that is both purchased and donated, treadmill and stair, what's that called, elliptical, those kinds of things. So we have that available to staff members who can come in and use that room during, before school, after school, during their lunchtime or whenever they want to. We have had a staff wellness fair. We have a monthly healthy potluck. So we have a theme to that. This month was scrumptious salads, and staff members sign up and bring a fun salad, and we can share in that kind of time during our lunchtime. And that's been an item or a thing that we've worked on in our school health advisory committee. We've got 7 raised garden beds, and I totally agree. When kids can grow it, they will eat it. It's amazing. A kindergartner planting carrot seeds, pulling out carrots, it is suddenly the most delicious food item they could possibly eat if they've grown it and they've watched it grow and they can pick it. And that's really, really fun. I would love to talk about more gardening because I want to eat more of our garden items. I've got bags of lettuce right now that 5th grade girls have picked, and we've been eating it in my office and sampling and trying them, but that's super, really fun, cool thing for kids. Some other things we've done to promote our, culture of wellness, I love that. I just stroll through the cafeteria and hand out stickers. I love these. Are these bistro packs from is this what these are? I love these bistro packs. When kids are eating fresh fruits and vegetables, I reward them and just say, we love your healthy choices. Put a little apple sticker on their shirt, and they love it, and they dangle their little bag of grapes so they can be recognized. And because kids really love to be recognized. I have the messiest office in the world. Please don't ever come see my office. But in my office is these gigantic bananas. In fact, Alliance for Healthier Generation actually featured Laguna about, 8 years ago. It's on the website. Okay, so we have these huge bananas that I bought from a friend whose son wanted at Dave & Buster's. And when I saw kids eating things like this, I just let them put their name on a banana, and they're hanging in my office. And the kids love that recognition. I tell you what they're asking, I can tell parents email me and say, thanks for promoting healthy eating because my kid just asked me to bring broccoli in their lunch. And it fuels that healthy eating when they're recognized for it. So I try to just do whatever I can, thumbs up to you and what you're eating and recognizing those healthy choices. Okay, we just I saw Victor Bobbitt here earlier from marketing. Jen West came to our last Shack meeting a couple ago, and she had the idea. We have pizza banners. Jen, okay, she's awesome, by the way. Be a Jen West at your school, because I couldn't do what I do without her, because she is volunteering at our fitness club. She comes to our Shack meetings. She had this idea of a banner. We have pizza banners, which is wonderful. I love pizza. Everybody loves pizza. But she said, how about we can advertise fruits and vegetables? So Victor Bobbitt made us a marketing tool. It's coming our way. Our student council voted that they would pay for it. And, it just says eat 5 a day, and it's beautiful and colorful, and eat the rainbow and blah, blah, blah. Just another culture of wellness.
We can also
Tip.
provide,
Okay.
materials for any cafeterias as well. We will be putting some stuff up and changing them at least several times a year now, so.
Love the
that'll be
marketing.
helpful.
It works. I tell you, just those shout outs, just those suggestions, just that hanging, it really is an effective, mechanism of changing behavior for kids. We have, what I discovered through our alliance or our healthy sort of committee is there's a library you can borrow educational tools from. Maricopa County has a library of things, and it's really cool stuff. So I've used it with some educational opportunities. We teach third grade about nutrition, and so you can borrow all these really cool materials and use that in your educational programming. And they have a cool banner. They're really cool Eat the Rainbow banner that I think that's what we're gonna be having with this banner. So that's coming our way. What else do we have? Our Healthy Showcase, which Jen worked on, and it is just a glass showcase outside our cafeteria, and it's featuring 9 children right now in their favorite physical activities. So some like soccer, softball, what else do they have, Jen? Just their favorite things to do. Just what'd you say, Vikings? Swimming, yeah, exactly. So they're just featuring a handful of kids, every couple of months and what they're doing to stay healthy. What else? Lots of staff activities we've done, hiking together, kayaking. We are going to do a pie race next month in March, pie as in the mathematical pie. But we're gonna go eat pie, but we're gonna walk 3.14 miles before we eat pie. So, just fun, having that same kind of educational, fun things. Community involvement, huge. If we can get more of that in our schools, and we need parent volunteers to help us run these activities. Question?
So we know that sitting on the wellness committee that you guys are the model local wellness committee that's happening. It's because you guys have a really strong.
Did you know that?
Yeah, you guys are.
We talked about it.
You absolutely are. You guys are absolute model. But you guys have really strong engaged nurse and really strong engaged physical educator. So what do you suggest for some of us who don't have those two aspects? How we get a committee started if you have one really loud parent like yourself, but other staff that's not as engaged? Because the truth is kids are not getting nutrition education in their PE classes, which is where they're supposed to get nutrition education.
Yeah.
And they're not getting it. The majority of schools are not getting
Well,
it.
we did a parent-led, partially parent-led education program last year. We had a physician doctor come in during our PE times, and she did an nutrition education program during the specials time, the PE time. But we have amazing PE education at our school, but we augmented that with a Dr. Parent who did some additional kinds. But it's all about your community. It's all about who. I've always been willing to do whatever we can, any of the interest, but that's an evolving interest all the time. It's always changing. These are a few suggestions. We did a cookbook, we made a healthy cookbook and sold it to our community. So what I learned from our former principal, we have an awesome principal now, but Dr. Rue was my principal for a long time. Whenever I had an idea, she said yes. And so she just said yes, do it. And I'm like, thank you. And then supported that. So hopefully you can get the yes and you can help out. I need Jen to do what I do at Laguna. I need other people to do what I do at Laguna.
Your question, just so you know, I just kind of mentioned, I know we're short on time. We have our 3 assistant superintendents who are listening, their ears are open, and that's something that they need to know about, right? So we're gonna follow up on that, and this is being recorded, so we'll follow up on that with them, because that's an important question that needs to be answered too. Sorry.
I better get back
Sarah has a class,
to
so, yeah, so.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, so Sarah Martinelli, I'm a professor at ASU, but my background actually was in school food, so I
chance to do what Patty does in a different district. So I just want to acknowledge all of the great work that is going on in Scottsdale, not just in school food, which is amazing, but also with the involved parents. So I was responsible for starting one of the policy committees and all of that stuff. And just seeing how involved everybody is just really encouraging, you know, from that perspective. I would say to your question, I know that's not my necessarily area, but typically the administrators are very responsive to parent requests. So the more you ask and the more people who are asking, the more response you're going to get, at least in my experience with initiatives. So don't give up and get your friends involved would be my spiel on that. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about Blue Watermelon Project. So Blue Watermelon Project, I'm going to give a brief history and talk about a little bit about our high school level program, and then I'm going to let Lou share all the awesome fun pictures he has from the garden. So basically, Blue Watermelon Project is a group of chefs, farmers, and food policy advocates who are interested in improving access to healthy food across the state. But we do have a particular focus in schools. Because of, like, as Patty mentioned, a lot of students might rely on school meals as their only meal of the day. We really want to make sure that that meal is as sound nutritionally as possible. Now, at the same time, how many people have picky eaters? Or have experienced picky eating with their kids, right? So kids are naturally neophobic, so they're afraid to try new things. So one of the best ways that we can get around that particular, just affliction that kids have, it's normal, is to introduce them to foods often and to introduce them to foods in a new and fun way. And so that's what the chefs do. The chefs use their culinary background to prepare fruits and veggies primarily, although we've had some chefs bring in insects that the kids have tried, edible insects, octopus, things like that, and they eat it. They eat it. And so they try to do it in a fun, educational way that's also incorporating some aspects of sustainability, where their food comes from. So they're building all of that in to the curriculum and exposing kids to broccoli. So Charlene Badman is the sort of the lead chef of Blue Watermelon Project, and she was just sharing a story about how she could not serve broccoli fast enough, and that there were kids like running off the playground, like, can I get some broccoli? That weren't even involved in the nutrition education because of the excitement they were able to build around that. And so our broader goal is to do that with kids where we can, but to also, of course, supplement what they're doing in the lunchroom. So if we can get kids excited with Charlene about broccoli and then put broccoli on the menu, and maybe Charlene even writes a recipe for a simple broccoli thing that they can incorporate and be like, hey, you tested this with Chef Charlene. We're just building that, again, continuing to build that culture of health and nutrition. So that's sort of like a broad view of Blue Watermelon's goal. We're a relatively young organization, so we've only been around for about 3 years as an organization. So we're still growing and learning. The most established program we have is ECHO, and so you'll see and learn a lot about that. But we're trying to expand that, out to other schools in Scottsdale, but also other districts across Maricopa County. So in addition to that, we have what we call Feeding the Future. It's an annual event where high school culinary students who are involved in CTE programs, right? So they're taking additional career technical education classes in culinary arts, get paired up with a chef mentor. So again, Charlene is one, Doug Robson from Cafe Otro, Tamara Stranger from Cotton and Copper. So these are big, important names in Arizona food culture. Are mentoring high school students to create recipes following NSLP guidelines. So they're given a list of ingredients that would be similar to what Patty would have access to in her high schools. They're given NSLP guidelines, so the National School Lunch Program guidelines, and they're given a budget. And they have to create meals with the help of their chefs that meet all of those guidelines and that are still tasty and creative, right? And then we have a little bit of a contest where everyone can come and taste. We have a panel of judges that follow criteria in terms of how these menus are scored, and then winning teams get college scholarships, so we support further education. This year, through some extra donations, we're able to give out a total of $10,000 in college scholarships across 3 teams. So that was really exciting for us. It's all a community-based organization, so we've got support from Sprouts, we've got support from just people in the community, restaurants, et cetera, to sort of provide the materials that they need to carry out these Chef in the Garden events. So then we will take these recipes, the contest was just this past January, we'll take these recipes, scale them up, and then share them with any school that's willing or wants to take them, and then they could, the idea would be that they could test them out in their own kitchens. So it's pretty exciting because the students are involved. These high school students are the ones leading the charge in developing these recipes, so we know that there's something that at least high school students would like, right? And of course the recipes can be tweaked to be elementary, absolutely, but they're written primarily for the high school market. But anyways, so that's sort of what we do on that scale. We also are advocating for healthy school meals at the state capitol. So there's no, particular legislation at the state that governs school meals, but there are auxiliary policies. So Farm to School is a really important, program for Blue Watermelon, and I think for school health in general. And so we support farmers. We're supporting bills this legislative session that support farmers to help grow the capacity of being able to service schools with more Arizona local produce. So that's sort of a broad view of what we do.
Do you know anything about the grants that are offered by the State Department, the Fruit and Vegetable grants?
The FFVP program?
Yeah.
So
when I was at Tavon, they would deliver fruits and vegetables and snacks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, FFVP is a federal program. It has, compared to other federal programs, this much funding. And so it's a really competitive grant process. You have to have a really high percentage of free and reduced price meals at a given school to even be eligible. I think in Arizona it's even
It's a
applies.
91% or greater now, and we don't have any schools that qualify anymore.
Right.
We had 2 schools that did have it.
Yeah, right, way back in its infancy of the
Yes.
program, we did.
Yeah, but it's
But
such a
if you can't
competitive and
qualify.
small grant that literally the school has to have 91% free and reduced price students. So that's, it's a great program. In fact, what Charlene is doing is sort of modeled after that program. You provide students with these snacks, right? And you're increasing that exposure. Yeah, and unfortunately, FFVP is, in my own personal work at ASU, we're actually working on some policies and some groups, ideas to expand the funding for that, but.
They would be great things I've never seen, and the kids loved it.
It's a really great program that has really great outcomes. And then was there one other quick question, then I'm gonna hand it over to you. I thought I saw a hand. Okay, that was a really quick spiel for me. I'm sorry, I have to head downtown and actually teach a class at ASU at noon, so I'm gonna run. But thank you so much for having me. And like I said, being a parent and having come from the school food wellness area, it's just really encouraging to see how many people are involved and willing to take the time to learn about these things and be involved in them. So kudos to you, and your kids are so super lucky.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
You'll
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been sitting here, I could use some water. Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today. And the last time I did this presentation, I had 3 hours to work. So we are going to just scoot through this thing pretty fast. I'm sorry I didn't change the slides, the whole program. The first thing I want to show you, if you can go to the videos on the disc and see if you can pop any one of those videos. If you can see on my drive that I put there, hopefully it's not in that, it's on the drive itself. There's some, what do you call them, MP4s or MPs.
Oh, MP4, so any one of these?
Yeah, just any one of those. Just
I got it. Got you on.
big smiles, big smiles. What are we gonna do today, guys?
That's cute.
That was just recently. We just did this. These kids, I'll show you, have her show you these other two little quick ones and then I'll get started.
Eating the broccoli. What'd you eat? Don't eat it yet, don't eat it yet, I want to take a picture of your hands. And I'm gonna say, look at all these.
These are pre-Ks.
Broccoli. Okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay, okay.
I can guarantee you this doesn't happen in the lunch line, and I get one. So that's super cool. I mean, I love seeing
One
that.
more.
They do like.
So tell me what you like the most.
Broccoli.
Broccoli, what else do you have on your plate?
Cheese, and I forgot the name of it.
You don't remember the name? What's it look like?
Looks like seeds.
Green. Good, thank you. Did you want to tell me what you have? What do you like the most?
The broccoli and the cheese.
Okay. Okay, that's the end of it. If you'll hit that one on sustainability, I think, on that slide program. Okay, so what I want to do is, we've talked a lot about this. We've got a nice school garden. We have the gardens at Echo Canyon. There's a lot of them. So I want to just take you quickly through what we're talking about. So this is the entrance to the school. Here we go. And if you just start going down the line, there's a tortoise habitat. We've got 2 habitats that are in there. You can kind of just keep zooming, just as, for the audience, just go at a distance. There's a tortoise habitat. Next one, that's a butterfly hummingbird habitat that's in there. Go ahead and, this is the little pre-K, first grade, and kindergarten garden. Go ahead and do another slide there. This is another view of the same garden. These are just, I just took this one yesterday. We use a fence line to grow things, so there's pockets for the kids to grow, and these are little guys growing along this fence line. So we are not just in raised gardens, we're in vertical gardens as well. Go ahead and, this is another area of the campus. This is the oval. This was one of those things that you're supposed to jump on. Originally, I think it was supposed to have some foam in it. We took it over, it's got 18 inches of soil, and it's one of our features now, where we grow things. So if you look beyond there, you'll see these culverts were originally put in there. The school is 7 years old in the rebuild, but we've added pots around there. You can get another shot here. There's some pots you'll see. We keep expanding where we're growing things. There's not a shot in here in this one, but we just started growing wheat in another area that we've got. The concrete table, if you can see the concrete table in there, that's where we do a lot of what we call chef in the garden events. So go on to the next one. This is just showing some of the kids. You can move through there a little bit, working in the gardens. Just stop for just a second. So in the gardens, what we'll have is, obviously we're planting or amending soil. We get kids out of classrooms that come and work, so that relates to the physical part of planting. But I will tell you that in my experience, there is a lot of health for your mind in working in the garden. I keep thinking about this. If you go look at any of your vacation marketing stuff, they're always showing you stuff that's out in some nature area. If you want to go on vacation, they're appealing to your wishes to be in nature. There's something about being in nature, and there's some research about it. So when you're touching soil, you're working with soil, there is some health benefits to this as well. The garden you're looking at right now is now in another area. This is a formal keyhole garden. This is the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade areas. 7th and 8th are up above this. This is a formal garden area. We've got a variety of trees. That's kumquats on the right. That's fig on the left. There's peaches, apples. Let's see, we even have sugar cane. Go on to the next one. That's just another view. This is my wife Ann on the left, and that's my other wife Shar on the right. They are both quite the characters. Ann works with me in the gardens. Ann is really the chef in the garden. This is really her program. Just a real brief history. Charlene has been with us for 10 years, so this didn't just happen overnight. She came out on a request from Ann and the vice principal at that time to come, and their goal was, what do we do with this food in the garden? What can we do with it? And so they sent an invitation out to chefs. Charlene was the first one to respond, and so she came out and worked with us, and we'll show you more about what we do with the kids in the garden. But anyway, this is another view of the garden. There's grapevines. That is sugarcane on the right. I just sent sugarcane to ASU, School of Sustainability, last week. They were studying sugar. We get a lot of visitors from ASU, and they were studying sugar, where it comes from, and we sent some so they could test it and eat it in the classroom. People had never seen it before. Go ahead, I'm not sure what number we're on. This is a picture of citrus and peach trees that we've got on campus. That's a Santa Rosa plum. We've got a lot of different kinds of things. Go ahead. Peaches. And then the main aisleway of the campus, we also had pots along the aisleway that we maintain. So we plant a lot of. Our gardens are really in there for beauty and function. So food, but beauty is really important to us. You'll see flowers throughout the garden as well. They're intermingled with the plants. So my wife and I are really focused on having beautiful gardens. So it is one thing I think that's very appealing, and it's attractive to come and see it. Go ahead. This is a succulent garden that we have. All right, so this part we can go on to number 41. Do you see numbers on there? This is part of the training I did with in September. Okay, so is there one before that? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what we do with the kids with food. So this is Charlene Batman. We had a class. So we do chef in the garden activities, and what that means is we're gonna make or cook something out of the gardens, and we're gonna integrate some kind of education with it as well. So this particular class, this is 6th grade, and we are talking about seafood sustainability. And Charlene brought a salmon in to break it down. She broke down the whole salmon. The kids have to keep documents of how to break down a salmon. So they're not just watching this, they have to record the process that's involved with how to do this. And then we had some discussion about seafood sustainability. Where did the salmon come from? And so I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I want you to get sort of an idea of what goes on with this. Then we wrapped salmon fillets in fig leaves that were out of the garden, and we put them on the grill, and we had salmon for the kids. So they're going to eat something at the end of this activity. Go to the next slide. You see, there's the salmon that was on the grill that we did. So move down to number 54, if you can find it. We do butterflies a lot. We do a lot of activities. I want to give you this one because this is an educational academic thing you can do called compare and contrast. And you don't need to have a garden to do this. Go ahead and look at the next slide. And go to the next one. What we did here was we brought in different kinds of basil, and we did this for Department of Ed as well, with some teachers. So there's a lot of varieties of basil. There's lemon basil, there's your Thai basil, there's your sweet Italian basil. There's quite a few varieties. There must be 10 more varieties. But what we did was we actually turned it into a class. So we have the kids sample the basil, and if you go to the next slide, and one more. Then they have to compare it. What does it taste like? What's the difference? What's the texture like? What is it like? So we do this out in the, this is all done outside. We don't do really much of this at all in a classroom or in a cafeteria or anything like that. And so then they go in and they analyze these flavors that they're getting out of basil, and the kids are introduced to this. And then, I don't know if we go down a few more, we eventually eat the basil. So we get into it and we're gonna eat it at this point and let the kids pick which kind of basil they wanna put in whatever there is. This is called compare and contrast. If you don't have gardens, you can go buy the basil and do this, but the one we do right now is we do the same activity with citrus. Move down a few more, you find the citrus, there we go. So we introduce citrus to the kids and we do the same activity, compare and contrast. There's all kinds of different citruses that are out there, and you can do it with lemons, you can do it with limes, you can do it with regular oranges and grapefruit. So there's some comparisons they can do. We really try to get a lot of the academics in this as well as just tasting food, really hit the academics with this as well. Let's see, go to number 62 if you can. Sarah was talking about some of the things we've done in the classroom. So we do some simple things like broccoli, as you saw, but we really hit some bigger items, such as lobster. I'm sorry, wait a minute. It wasn't lobster, it was octopus. Is it number 62? We introduced them to octopus, and some of the octopus is threatened. So we do have sustainability discussion about octopus. We had a seafood company came in and he did the activities. And then we ate, the kids ate the octopus. We prepared it. Normally we get a lot of adults that will come out and see what we're making and what we're going to eat, and they're kind of lingering, waiting for the leftovers. We usually do this for one class, by the way. It's usually one class at a time. When we did the octopus, the adults were holding back a lot, which is really interesting because the class didn't, but the adults are. So that tells you a little bit about what's going on here. These students have done this every year of their in school. They're coming out to try different foods with us, and they're really testing foods out. They're really sampling them. The adults are still holding back a little bit with a lot of caution. Go back to number 66. We brought in a red rockfish that's at the bottom of the ocean, and I forgot her name right now. The chef, I'm sorry, I just lost her name. She spoke to Congress this last year about seafood sustainability. She's one of our local chefs, and she is well known in the United States with her efforts with seafood sustainability. She did a class on breaking down this fish and how to eat every part of it. So the leftover parts went into soup. Let's see. Go into number 70. If you can find 70, we did a class with sugar cane. And sugar is one of the, one of those things that's in all of our diets, so it's everywhere. So we do a class on sugar cane. We grow sugar cane on the campus, and then this is for the 7th and 8th graders, and they study sugar cane. They studied the trade triangle about it. They will, and then they have to tell me why we don't grow sugar cane in Arizona, why it's not grown here. So we get into the whole science of this of the plant, and then we squeezed it out, and they looked at the brown sugar, the sugar juice out of it. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. So if you'll go down, let me see what you've got here. I'm going to hit one big area we just did. I don't think I have the numbers. Stay with number 76, if you can. In 76, and the one just above that, Tamara Stanger came in, and she teaches a class on foraging in Arizona, eating what's out in the desert, and our native foods. She also addresses what the Native Americans grow, and these are really desert foods. she's got samples there of what she did. And then in the next slide below that, the kids are eating some ice cream with cactus in it. So the kids are really getting exposed to a lot of stuff. So when it comes to broccoli, it's like, oh, that's easy. Broccoli's nothing. Go down a little further, I think you'll see number 87. Charlene is breaking down a chicken. In this particular exercise, I don't know where it is, I must have lost it, but there's one that's, she's breaking down a chicken. The class, the students had to record how to break down a chicken on their papers. Then they had to put their data together, and then they had to give it to the principal, who then had to try to break down a chicken based on what the class had interpreted on how to break down the chicken. So we're always trying to figure out some academics, how do we integrate, how do we get the kids writing, what's the history, how do we use the whole chicken instead of throwing food away. So, and then if you find, I don't know the numbers, go down a little bit, we did a butter battle with the book with the little kids, Dr. Seuss book. There it is, the Dr. Seuss book. So the kids, I don't know if you know this book, but we'll put books in a lot, and we associate whatever it is we're doing with the food, and then we usually read the book, or the teachers will read the book before they come out. If you can find the plate below that, we're almost done with this one. There's some plates of food. You'll see a round plate. There we go, stop there. All right, this was it. We hit the end of the rainbow, I thought, when in 6th grade. We usually hit 6th graders on sustainability. So this year we brought, Tamara brought in, that is crickets. And the next slide is ants. Those ants are brought out of Mexico. They were brought by a chef here. And we had a class on what people eat in the world. What is the foods that are eaten? I can't remember, I think it's 2 billion people in the world who eat insects. So, and this is a common food in Mexico, in South America. These are not your regular ants that you see around here. These are big. Has anybody eaten these? Thank you. I have now. And they're supposed to taste like bacon, but I certainly didn't get bacon. We gave this to a class of 6th graders who've been going year after year. They go through this stuff with us. It was 6th graders, 20 kids in the class, 17 of them ate the ants and crickets. Some of them came back for more, and one of the girls in the class is from Colombia, so this food was really familiar with her. And she talked about eating these things in Colombia. So it was a really interesting class for me too. I thought this was fascinating to think about what is the foods that are eaten in the world, what's our future of food in the world, and what are we possibly going to be eating. I probably won't, but my kids may be challenged with what's available for food in the world. So this was a really interesting class, and the nutrients in the ants was, it was there. So let me end this one, and if you can pop in the other slide. This is it's just funny. This is kids from 1934, and they have garden stuff, on their desks that they had to make some designs of gardens. But go to number 4, and this is just some of the kids working in the gardens. You go down the line on this thing and just show these. Oh, maybe it's not. This is back to butterflies. I do a lot of stuff with butterflies in the classrooms. This isn't really wellness, but for me it's mental wellness. 18, if you go to number 18, this young lady wanted to throw a pick. And I'll never forget this girl. She insisted on learning how to throw a pick. And I have a safety background, by the way. So I was a safety manager. So We did a lot of coaching before this, but that girl really wanted to throw that fit. I'll never forget this child. Go to number 23, if you will. Okay, so I was talking about Chef in the Garden. We usually do this once a week. We have a class that will come out, and we have a chef that's there that'll do a Chef in the Garden program. And when we first started this, we were just feeding kids normally, trying to get them used to different food. We are not doing that anymore. The kids have stations, just like at a restaurant. They're gonna work stations. There's gonna be some kids that are gonna prepare drinks, and we don't use sugar in drinks, so it's gonna be citrus based. We may use a little bit of honey. There are gonna be kids that are chopping up some of the vegetables that are going into it. I can't remember the other stations. We usually have 4 stations of kids, so we'll break up a class into 4, and then they go out and work. We'll harvest from the garden, we've got to clean it, and the chefs will guide us all in all of that. This is Cullen Campbell. If you go to 24, Char's in a lot of these. Blue Watermelon really is just started out of our school, and our school is the demo school for Blue Watermelon. It is the place that I probably do 2 tours a week for people to come in and see what the gardens look like, and then they want to talk to us about what we're doing. We go to 26, and these are just some of the different chefs that have come in there. He's a chef that masters in, I've lost it, I'm sorry, I just lost it. But 27 is Butch. He owns Arizona Pops. He brings popsicles that have vegetables and fruit in them. So it's a really different twist that we've got. 28 is a bakery chef that came in and did some work with the kids. 29 is Eric Mai. He owns the parlor down Camelback. And let's see, let me skip ahead a little bit further. 38, on number 38, we do Stone Soup every once in a while. Stone Soup, it's a story where the little guys really are building a soup together. They're putting different ingredients into a pot, and in the book, there's a stone in the soup. So the kids will put this together, and then we have some soup waiting off in another area, and we take the kids and move them someplace else. We switch the soup. It's made, and then we'll serve the soup. So we do a lot of stuff. We're associating foods with books as well. 45. Get to 45. We do sometimes a playground pop-up. Have you ever heard of a pop-up? Anybody? It's a big thing in LA. We do a playground pop-up where we're there and we're just serving food to kids. In this particular exercise, they're just tasting. They're just tasting food. They're not as integrated in the curriculum or anything else like that. But that really lets them know that there's other foods out there, and it really gets them beyond that thing of I don't like it. Last week when we did the Chef in the Garden, this class came out and everybody started eating, and this one little boy was telling me, I don't want it, I don't want it. And so I said, are you new here? And he goes, yes. I knew it. I knew it. Most of the kids, if they're new, they're not used to it, but if they've been there for a while, they'll try everything. I think I'm going to end it at this point in time. I'm getting a little.
I know, I'm the worst. Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of what we do. We're using the gardens to make something. We're throwing in some academics. Some of the new chefs that come into us for Blue Watermelon, they come over to the school and see how this works. Blue Watermelon is in 21 schools right now, and I think we have a total of 25 chefs. It's kind of a group that's moving so fast we can't even figure out where we've been in a lot of cases. It's a lot of doers. It's a lot of satisfaction for all these people who work with kids. So I think I'm going to end that. I will add this though. You have a voice, and don't forget you've got a voice. I think for parents, you can ask for things. I'm a volunteer at Echo Canyon School, so it's all done by a volunteer. Think about it, I'm not paid to do this, or my wife, or none of these chefs. We just come in and do this. You have the same ability